Hey everyone, and welcome to Get Your Hopes Up. I'm Christy Wright, and I'm so glad you're here. Romans 15:13 says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by power of the Holy Spirit." Our God is the God of hope, and he wants you to overflow with hope. So let's start our week by getting our hopes up again. Now, today we are talking about some very tactical parenting strategies that have literally saved my life, saved my sanity at least. So, I want to share with you a few things that have happened recently because I think they can really help you as well, regardless of where you are in your parenting journey. But let me start with a confession, okay? Whenever we were coming into this summer of 2024, y'all, I was dreading it. Now, I love summer. We go to the lake. I'm an outdoors person. I love being active. I love playing outside with my kids, but I just dreaded summer. Why? Because the last few summers have been so stinking hard. The kids are home. It's chaotic. There's so much noise. There's so much fighting. There's so much mess. What are we doing every day? When you think about it, we are a family of 5, and 4 of us are neurodivergent: ADHD, autism, anxiety. Who knows what else is thrown in this cocktail of our family? It's a little crazy, y'all. And one person's things are triggering to another person's sensitivities. It's just a lot. And I dreaded it. I really did. But then the most magical thing happened, y'all. This summer was the most amazing summer I've maybe ever had in my entire life. It was amazing in every single way. It was like every sideways puzzle piece of our lives that's been scattered on the floor somehow started clicking into place. And all of a sudden I look up and it's just a dream. Now, of course, my kids are still loud. They still make a mess. They still fight. It's not a cakewalk. We're humans. But all of the difficulty I expected and had been experiencing for, I don't know, a decade since becoming a mom just got easier. And so, as I've analyzed this and tried to figure out how, after 10 years of hard, it got so good, there are a few things that I can attribute to this amazing new season of joy and play and a happy home to. And I want to share them with you in case they might work for you too. Now, let me start with the very important disclaimer that I am not a doctor or therapist. I am a mom. This worked for me, and I hope it works for you too. Here are 10 things that have saved my sanity as a mom in no particular order. Number 1, splitting the kids up. Now, if you only have one child, this is probably not as relevant for you, but for me, with 3 kids, it's a big deal. So I grew up an only child, and I always wanted siblings. I always wanted a big family. I wanted everyone to be sharing clothes, having dinner around the dinner table, fighting over toys. I didn't care. I just wanted a big family. Be careful what you wish for, because I got it. All the chaos and all the noise that goes with it. But because I grew up an only child and always wanted a big family, and now I have that big family, or at least to me, 3 kids is a big family, I tend to want everybody to be together all the time. That's my default. Let's all do everything all the time. Well, a couple years ago, out of sheer necessity, my husband and I started splitting the kids up every now and then. He would take 2 and I would take 1. Or I would take 2 and he would take 1. Or we would each take 1 and send 1 to the mother-in-laws or the grandmothers or so on. And y'all, it was incredible. I realized in hanging out with my kids one-on-one, which I almost never did up to that point, I actually think I had 3 only children. They thrive as only children. They are absolutely perfect angels as only children. They listen. They don't talk back. They are pleasant and have manners and respectful and thankful and just lovely, lovely to be around. I enjoy their company. I get to know them. We have so much fun. Apparently, I was supposed to have 3 only children because we are thriving when they are alone. But you know what's so interesting about this time as well? They cherish it, y'all. It's not just that they act amazing when they're not trying to jockey for position or fight for your attention with their siblings. They cherish that one-on-one time. I realized when I get them one-on-one, I'm able to really get to know them. not just focus on keeping everybody alive, keeping everyone fed, keeping everyone safe, and having clothes on. I'm able to see them and enjoy them more and listen to their thoughts and their opinions and their experiences and their stories. I really build a quality relationship with them when I get them alone. So it's not only been great for me and great for my husband, it's been great for them as well. If you have a big family, especially if you have children that are neurodivergent, where there's a lot of things happening all the time, when you can, split them up. It's actually really wonderful. They cherish that time, and you feel like it's a vacation only having one or two compared to the chaos of multiples. Number one is splitting the kids up. I used to feel bad about it, and then I realized it's one of the best things that we do. Number two, and this is a powerful one, so I want to slow down and say it emphatically. I stopped trying to fix them and started trying to help them. I mentioned a minute ago, we have ADHD in all three kids, autism in one, anxiety in another. We have other phobias and things we're working through, not to mention the fact that I also have ADHD. So there's a lot going on in our household and a lot of very real day-to-day challenges with the reality of our life and our family makeup. And I used to think I just have to fix it. I have to fix them. I have to fix us. I have to fix the family. I have to fix the problems. I'm a problem solver by nature. I just have to fix it. And then I realized they are not a problem to be solved. They are not broken and need to be fixed. I stopped trying to fix them and started trying to help them. The first few years of being on this journey of learning their different needs and challenges, we tried everything, y'all. This was in the season of us trying to fix them. We tried brain balance. We tried ABA. We tried gluten-free, sugar-free. We tried occupational therapy, speech therapy, feeding therapy. We tried medicines, routines, social stories. I made them books. I wrote them books with photos of what we needed to happen in the household and printed them at Walgreens, y'all. We tried everything. And then I realized some of those things were helping and some of them were not. And when I could let go of the desire to fix them and instead look at them and listen to them and get to know them, I could understand what they need and then I could actually help them. All behavior is communication. So everything they were doing was a communication to me. Now, of course, I didn't understand it. I couldn't speak that language. I couldn't translate. I had no idea why my son would not get in the bath. And he couldn't tell me. But I knew every night was a fight. Or more realistically, every second or third night was a fight. It was really hard. But when I began to look at it from a perspective of they need my support, they need my help, they need something from me. How can I figure out what they need so that I can give it to them? Everything changed. All behavior is communication, and they were trying to communicate something to me. And it took me getting out of the chaos and me getting out of my own ideas of being the problem solver, just trying to get the whole thing fixed, for me to really see them, get to know them, understand what they needed, of course, with the help of experts and doctors and therapists. And then I could begin to provide them what they need. Simple things like a heads up when we're about to transition from one activity such as dinner to bath time, or even setting an alarm, or even visual schedules on the refrigerator, or even some of those social stories in the form of books that we read every night before a new activity. I became so much more open-minded about what might be possible and what they might need. For example, I'm not personally anti-medicine at all. I feel like I'm very middle of the road when it comes to medicine and the controversy of medicine in this space with mental health and so on. I'm not anti-essential oils. I'm not anti anything. I'm very open-minded to what it's going to help. But I will tell you up front that medicine is not my first line of defense. I don't personally like taking a lot of medicine. If I have a headache, I'm probably not going to reach for the ibuprofen immediately. I'll take it at some point if the headache really persists, but it's not my immediate go-to. No judgment if it is, it's just not mine. So medicine in this whole space was something I was open to, but very, very cautious of. And I'll tell you, for us personally, medicine has absolutely changed our lives. Both of my boys take ADHD medicine, and it is unbelievable how much it helps them. It does not drug them. It does not turn them into a zombie. It does not turn them into a different person. It actually takes them from bouncing off the walls in their brain, floating in outer space back to their body where they are present of mind. They are regulated and they are able to actually experience the moment that they're in. In fact, I feel like they gave me back my kids. I was like, oh my gosh, there you are. There you are. Conley, who was never, ever affectionate before, became affectionate. I'm going to cry when I say this, but he put his arm around me for the first time in his entire life after he had been on medicine for a couple weeks. When we introduced anxiety medicine for my son Carter, his entire demeanor changed in the best possible way, where he went from crying and temper tantrums and throwing fits and having a really hard time all day, every day, to being so positive and happy and joyful. Joyful. What I thought was just a negative personality style was completely removed the moment he had what he needed. Now, is that right for everyone? No, of course not. And of course, I'm not a doctor and I'm not prescribing anything. I'm just saying, what would it look like to be open-minded about what your family needs? Maybe for you, it is gluten-free. Maybe for you, it is a certain family schedule. Maybe for you, it is a certain therapy. Maybe for you, it's a certain essential oil. Maybe for you, it's something else. I am very open-minded that different things work for different people. But it was through my own journey of having to open my own mind to things that I maybe wouldn't have chosen as a solution to realize the incredible benefits of how much our family has changed and how much our lives have benefited when I finally give my kids what they need. When I stop trying to fix them and instead focus on helping them. Number 2, stop trying to fix them and start trying to help them. Be open-minded in what that might look like for you. Number 3, be realistic about what's worth it and what's not. We've tried a lot of things that were just not worth it. Gluten-free, not worth it for our family. Feeding therapy, not worth it for our family. For some people, they may actually need that. I'm like, you know what? Conley's going to eat 10 foods and he may eat those 10 foods his whole life. He's in great shape. He has great energy. He actually eats healthier than the rest of us. So he doesn't have a large list of things he's willing to try or eat. So what? He's getting his nutrition. He's fine. Other things, occupational therapy, ABA, the school that he currently attends, absolutely hands down worth it. Worth the trips to ABA, worth going multiple times a week, worth it all day, every day. The money and the sacrifices for the school he goes to, worth it. It has made all the difference in our lives. Be realistic about what's worth it and what's not. If it's a fight every single day to implement this strategy or that strategy or whatever that doctor says or that therapist says, if it's a fight and leading to breakdown and tears every single day, is it really worth it? There may be other ways that lead to a positive result that reduce all that conflict and all that fight. What's worth it? What's sustainable for your family? And let's use an example that's not for neurodivergent families. Soccer. Y'all know I love soccer. I played soccer. I've coached soccer. I have tried to get all 3 kids to love soccer. None of them do. I've coached every single time. They hate it. This is so dumb. Why don't I stop? Why am I coaching? Why am I showing up? Why am I driving to practice? This is so dumb. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So much stress comes in our lives from forcing things that are not realistic, not sustainable, or just not worth it for you or your family or your situation. So number 3 is be realistic about what's worth it to you and what's not. And if it's not worth it, let it go. Number 4, let them be kids. Let them be kids. Let them be dirty. Let them be weird. Let them be loud. Outside, please. I'm going to move you outside if you're going to be loud because you're driving me insane. But let them be kids. Let them act on their weird ideas, like making a ramp for cars out the garage door and into a bucket of dyed water. Let them dress up the dog. Their ideas are so much weirder and more awesome than whatever perfect craft you pinned on Pinterest. Let them be weird. Get the ugly Christmas yard decorations. Let them wear Minecraft play clothes. Let them have weird birthday party themes or get their friends weird gifts. Let them be kids. When you let them be kids, They are going to have more fun and you're going to have a lot less stress from trying to force something that just is not so. Because the truth is, letting them be kids means that you have to let go of your Instagram version of parenting and you have to let go of getting to show everyone else what a perfect family you have. But if you do, you'll have way more fun and your kids will too. Number 4 is let them be kids. Number 5, similarly, let them be themselves. They are who they are. They've got opinions, they've got ideas, they like certain things and don't like certain things. Let me give you an example. When I found out I was having a baby girl, I was so excited because I could not wait to dress her up in all these adorable outfits. And for years, literally years, from the time that she was 2 or maybe even 1.5 and had an opinion, all the way until present day, I would buy her clothes that she refused to wear. Refused, would not put them on. I'm talking screaming, fighting, kicking. Of course, by the time this happens, I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. Like, it's not worth it. Clearly, you don't like this. I had no idea how much of an opinion this girl had. I'm like, you're 3. How do you have an opinion about your shirt? But she did. She does. They all do. They have an opinion about themselves, about their likes and their preferences. So this school year, I decided to take Mary Grace shopping for the first time. And I said, Mary Grace, I'm not going to buy you any more clothes because clearly you don't like what I buy. You refuse to wear it. So I'm not going to buy anything unless you're with me and you can say you like it. I'm tired of sending this stuff to Goodwill. So we go shopping and she would pick out some things, probably not what I would have chosen, sure, but I let her get them. They weren't offensive. There was nothing wrong with them. I just didn't like them. Then I would pick out some things. I would pick out multiple things and show them to him. And I'd hold them up and, do the Vanna White. Isn't this lovely? Do you love this? No, 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 no. Well, one time we were at Target and y'all, they had the cutest little girl's jumpsuit I have ever seen. It was short sleeves with the sleeves rolled up in little cuffs. It was denim all the way, long pants to the floor, had this cute little waistline. It was a light pink, almost like a rose gold type of a light pink with really soft denim button up jumpsuit for little girls. If they had it in my size, I absolutely would have bought it. And I held this thing up. I said, Mary Grace, isn't this so cute? No. But Mary Grace, look, it's pink. No. Mary Grace, feel how soft it is. The material is so soft. You have to get this. No. She finally cut me off and she goes, Mom, you can buy it, but I will not wear it. I said, okay. Okay, let me just put this back on the rack. Let them be themselves. Whether they like a certain outfit or don't, they like soccer or in my case, don't. If they want to have a squirrel birthday party like my son Carter did, and that wasn't my choice, let them be themselves. Let them like what they like. You will build their confidence and their sense of self-worth and dignity and independence and your relationship with them when you let them be who they are with their own opinions and preferences and you honor that. Now, they can't be a jerk and they can't do things that are outside your family values as you raise them, of course. But you could let her wear the Mickey Mouse shirt when you wish she'd wear that smock dress instead. Here's the truth. Your kids, they aren't trying to be perfect or impress anyone. You are. You're the one trying to do those things. Let them keep their freedom and their joy from things that they love as much as you possibly can. Let them be themselves. Number 6, take them on one-on-one trips if you can. Before last fall, if you would have asked Carter the greatest city in the entire world, do you want to know what he would have said? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Shout out to all my friends in Tulsa. My son Carter loves Tulsa. And do you know why? Because when he was 4 years old, I let him come with me on a speaking event trip in Tulsa. We were there, I believe, maybe 48 hours. We went to one children's museum and the rest of the time he was just with me while I worked. There were so few things about this trip that would have been remotely exciting to him at all. And in his mind, it was the greatest trip of all time and the greatest city in the world because he got to be with me. Well, fast forward to last fall, and I had several speaking events that happened to fall during the week of fall break. And I felt really bad because I obviously wasn't going to be able to take any trips with my kids. And then I thought, well, this one trip at the end of the week here in Dallas, I bet I could bring Carter. He's old enough to sit in my green room by himself and watch his iPad or read a book or even sit in the audience and watch me on stage. He's responsible enough to do that. What if I just bring Carter to Dallas? Y'all, best decision ever. We tacked on a couple extra days. We did everything you can imagine in Dallas. We had the absolute best time in the world. And now, if you ask Carter, the greatest city in the world, it's Dallas, Texas. He follows every single Dallas sports team from the Mavericks to the Rangers. He is obsessed with Dallas. And if Matt or I ever go to Dallas without him, he is crushed because he loves Dallas. Why? Because he got a one-on-one trip with mom. I know it's not easy. I know it's expensive and it doesn't always work because you've got to have childcare and logistics and yada, yada, yada. I get it. But even if it's 24 hours and even if it's just a hotel in your hometown, take them on one-on-one trips. They absolutely love it. And I promise you'll love it as well. Number 7. This one is very specific and very tactical, but I can't leave it out. Here we go. Read this book, The Anxious Generation. Now, I'm listening to it on audiobook, but when I tell you it is changing my life, I'm not exaggerating. It is changing my life. I was heading to the lake house a few weeks ago and I needed a good audiobook because I'm always on the car back and forth to the lake house. It's 2 hours each way. And that popped up on my home screen of my Audible account or whatever. And I saw it and I thought, no, I'm not going to listen to that. That's about teens and screens. I don't have teens and we don't really have a problem with screens that I'm aware of. So I'll listen to that later. But it was this pull towards this book that I could not resist. I feel like it was the Holy Spirit leading me to listen to this book. It's not a Christian book, but I felt like God wanted me to get this information in my mind. This book is not about teens and screens. This book is about parenting in general. It's about confidence. It's about childhood, and it's absolutely brilliant. Every single parent of any child of any age in your household should read this book, or in my case, listen to it on audiobook. Y'all, it's changed my life. The premise is this. We overprotect kids in the real world, like your neighborhood down the street, what they can do, where they can go. And we underprotect them in the online world where it's actually drastically more dangerous there. So in the real world, we don't let them do anything. We're scared to let them go outside of our front yard. We coddle them and we insulate them and put them in this bubble. We don't let them do anything. Do you know where I was walking by myself at age 5, 6, or 7, y'all? All over the place. Streets and blocks and neighborhoods away. I remember being, 9 or 10 years old and crossing Nolensville Road, this huge road here in Nashville, going to the grocery store to get stuff. I had unbelievable freedom at that age. I was all over the place. I bet you had the same. I bet you walked to your friend's house that were half a mile away, maybe even longer. And we won't let our kids go down a street or two? It's crazy. I've been listening to this book and he explains it so much better than I can here in this podcast and this quick snapshot. But I will tell you what has changed in my parenting since listening to this book. First, I'm giving my children way more independence. That looks like letting them go further away without me, riding their bike, riding their scooters, going places, staying home alone for short periods of time when I'm down the street or I'm going on a quick errand. It looks like a lot more independence and a lot more freedom. It also looks like a lot more responsibility. The author talks about the importance of children feeling a part of the household. And it's so interesting because as parents, we are just fetching everything for them all the time. We're running and fetching. You need water. You need goldfish. You need a snack. You need shoes. You need TV. You need iPad. You need this. You need your backpack. You need your shirt. You need your hair. We're running. And that's one of the many reasons we are so stinking exhausted. We've started giving our kids more responsibility. Now, we implemented a lot of this past summer when it was easier to introduce these new ideas when we've had the margin and the flexible schedule of summer. But y'all, their confidence has shot through the roof. And I've begun to state things in forms of rules. So the principle is, if you can do it, you do it. If you can do it, you do it. So if you need water, well, you can do that. If you need a plate, you can get that. I have all of their dishes in drawers that they can reach. They know where the water bottles are. They can drag a chair over to the pantry and get things on high shelves. Get your own everything. Carry your own everything. The premise that he talks about in this book is that everyone needs to feel like a contributing member of the household. Everyone contributes to making this whole thing function. And when we do everything for them, they don't feel that. And they actually feel insecure, anxious, and incompetent because they don't have to do anything. When you begin to give them freedom, but also responsibility, they feel like a contributing member of the household. Now, let me say up front that when you start to roll some of this out, they revolt. Because who would be excited about losing their full-time maid and their full-time chef and their full-time servant? No one's excited about that. But after the initial freak out for a few days and you begin to be consistent in expectations with this, it is unbelievable how much they actually feel a part of what's going on. So when my kids come home from school, everyone gets their things out. When we're at the lake and I'm walking down to the boat and I've got 9 million things to carry, from sunscreen to goggles to life jackets to beach towels, even if I can fit all of the stuff in my boat bag and I see my kids are empty-handed, I will begin to take things out of my bag and hand them to people just for the purpose of them carrying something. Everybody carries something everywhere we go. No longer is mom the pack horse that carries everything all the time with 97 bags. I'll be in the kitchen and have nothing in my hands, and someone will come in and say, I want some water. And I will step aside and say, it's right there. Go ahead. They make their own breakfast. Aside from frying an egg, they know how to make Eggo waffles. They know how to get muffins. They know how to make cereal. Give your kids responsibility. You have no idea how beneficial it is for them, but how much of a relief it is for you. You are exhausted fetching everything for them all day. Of course you are. Stop. They can do it. Let them do it. Make them do it. Stop doing it for them. The first few days, of course, they are horrified, and then it becomes systematic and everyone expects it. And it is amazing. And I'm telling you, it has changed my life. The title of the book, again, is The Anxious Generation. I will put the link here in the show notes so you can access it, or of course, you can get it anywhere that you buy books. It is phenomenal, and it is about so much more than screens and smartphones. It's about parenting, it's about confidence, and it's about childhood. And I highly, highly recommend it. Number 8, create better systems to solve problem areas. So there are specific times of day that would be really big problems for us. One of them is dinner. I would make dinner. Everyone would hate it. It would be a big fight. They wouldn't eat. My feelings were hurt. I'm frustrated. Where do we go from here? Why are we making multiple dinners every night? It was really, really frustrating. Now, I know, because I have kids that have very strong sensory issues, that this is not as simple as if they're hungry, they'll eat. If you're a baby boomer, or maybe you're not as familiar with people with sensory challenges, it's not that simple. Certain foods and textures and smells are so very offensive and overwhelming to children that it is the same as someone putting a roach in front of you and saying, well, if you're hungry, you'll eat it. That's what it feels like to them. So that is actually not the case. I know that's not the case, but we had to solve this. We could not continue to have this circus every single night. So instead, now, every night, I make 2 dinners. I make the dinner that my husband and I want, which has wonderful ingredients, a wonderful recipe that we're excited about. And then for my kids, I will fix one of the 4 things they will eat: quesadilla, chicken nuggets, butter noodles, sausage, something I know is a home run. They get that, they get some fruit, call it a day. They're still getting food, nutrition, calories, all the things, but it's less of a fight. I would be bored out of my mind personally if someone fed me the same thing every single night, one of 4 options, but they love it. And you know what? I got bigger battles to fight. Food's not going to be one of them. That has solved the dinner time fight. Now my husband and I can eat the food we want, and my children get the food they want. Everyone is fed. Everyone is happy. No one is fighting. Another example is the morning routine. Mornings were always a struggle to get everyone out the door. I've lost a shoe. I can't find my snack. I don't have a belt. Where's my uniform? Where's my backpack? Oh, by the way, I have homework I forgot about. We would try to work on these things each afternoon, but of course, it's just scattered and chaotic, and it didn't happen. The new routine is this. Every single night, every single thing is done for the next day. The clothes are laid out down to the underwear, the belt, the socks, and shoes. That means that we have to find them. So if something's missing, we're figuring that out at 7:00 at night when we have time to solve it, versus the next morning when we're trying to rush out the door. Everyone packs their snack in their backpack the night before. They pack their lunch if they want that. They show me their homework the night before when we go to bed. Every single thing that needs to be done to get out the door the next morning is done the night before. Another simple routine is I have told them they have to get completely ready before they come downstairs. This sounds so simple, y'all, but here's what would happen last year. They would stumble downstairs in their pajamas and then just stare off into space for a while, maybe 10, 15 minutes, not ready to eat yet because their food is too hot or they're not hungry yet. It would waste so much time. Then, of course, when it's time to get out the door, we're scrambling to tuck our shirt in. No, 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 no. We're going to fix that. So now every one of my kids is expected, and they know it, to get completely dressed, head to toe, full uniform, including socks and shoes, and brush your teeth before you ever come downstairs. So if you come downstairs and you want to stare off into space or complain about your waffle for 20 minutes, do it, my friend, by all means. Stare, get your stare on. At least you're dressed, and I know your backpack's packed. So if it's time to get out the door, I can get you out the door. I don't care if you've not eaten. You're at least dressed. We can go to school with no breakfast. We cannot go to school with no pants. So that simple change in routine to get completely ready before you come downstairs has changed our life. Sometimes changing your life isn't some giant light bulb moment or some drastic life change. It's just having the energy and the space to think of a new way of doing things, a better way of doing things, solving those problem areas with a better system. If you do that, you will be amazed at the results in your life and how much it improves your family culture. Number 9, headphones. That's it. Headphones. Headphones have saved my life. Now that I'm aware that I have ADHD and I'm learning so much about ADHD, I can tell you noise is so very triggering for me. Like screaming, fighting noise sends me into fight or flight, and I want to walk out their front door and never come back. I'm not thinking rationally. It is not good. I cannot do anything about it. It is so assaulting to my senses when people are screaming. I have now learned that's a thing for me, and it's very hard for me. And also, I have 3 kids that scream and have temper tantrums because they have their own challenges. Solution: headphones. Get you some headphones. Noise canceling headphones. Now, when Mary Grace starts screaming on one of her blood-curdling screams of something she's mad about, I go find my AirPods. I put them in my ears, and literally I will play some type of worship music. And so as I see this tiny person screaming her head off, all I hear in my ears is Amazing Grace. And I can get down on ground level and I can look at her compassionately and I can say, Mary Grace, I see you're upset. Let's talk about it. See, this is what is missing from so much of the advice on Instagram where they say, stay regulated, parents. You've got to stay regulated. Kids need to learn how to be calm by watching you be calm. Kids learn how to regulate by watching you be regulated. Okay. But what about the things that are absolutely sending us feeling like we want to fly off the deep end? You have to have a way to take care of your own sensory needs. And guess what? We're all humans. Us parents, we're not robots. We have feelings too. We're humans. And you may have different sensory issues than I do. Maybe for you, it's not noise, but you have to take care of your own sensory needs if you're ever going to be able to take care of your kids. A very simple way I've solved my own problem is headphones. And even if you don't have ADHD or noise sensitivity, headphones are a great way for you to be able to think clearly with your loud household or screaming kids and be able to be compassionate and empathetic and meet them where they are and give them a hug when you really want to run the other direction. Headphones help that. I know it's practical and tactical, and that's what I love to give you. Get you some headphones and don't even feel bad about it. You will be able to love them better if you can't hear them screaming and it's sending your brain into fight or flight. Get some headphones. And then number 10, pray. You knew I would include this. Pray. Everything I'm living in now, all of the joy and the goodness and the happiness and the connection and the quality time, everything we're experiencing is the result of answers to countless prayers prayed. Pray for what you need. Pray for solutions. Pray for help, direction, wisdom. Pray for your kids, your home, your family, yourself. Pray. God answers prayer. So whatever you need, whatever you're going through as a parent, pray. And then I want to end this list of 10 parenting strategies that have saved my life by telling you this. You are going to make it. You're going to make it. If you're in a season with little kids and you feel like you haven't slept in a decade, or you have kids with special needs, or you're going through something and you don't even know what you're dealing with, but it just feels consuming and overwhelming and difficult and hard, I know you don't think you're going to make it. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it will be this hard forever, but I want to tell you, friend, it won't. It won't. You are going to make it. It is going to get easier. It will get easier as they are older. It will get easier as you find the solutions that are right for you and your kids and your family. It will get easier. I promise you it will. You are going to make it. Give yourself grace. Take it one day at a time. Be kind to yourself because this is hard. It's really hard, but you are going to make it. I hope this episode helps not only encourage you where you are right now, but I hope it also gives you practical steps that you can take to see improvements in your own life as well. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for Get Your Hopes Up. I love hanging out with you every Monday to help you get to know God, get closer to Him, and get your hopes up again. Be sure to share this episode on Instagram and Facebook so other people can get their hopes up as well. And then follow the Christy Wright podcast channel so you never miss a new show. Then I'll see you next Monday for another new episode of Get Your Hopes Up.